I wanted to say to you, happy birthday. Because if you don't know it, the 15th, which was, we just passed the 15th, we have been at church for 7 months. Amen? Isn't that awesome? And I was talking to somebody. Actually, I put her name up here. Went to see her last night, and she was really excited about her coming here sometime. And she keeps saying, I'm going to come. And she never gets here. And so last night I seen her, and I said to her, I said, you know, it's been 7 months. She said, it has not. And I said, yes, it has. And so I wanted to say, though, that did you know that whenever you go and plant a seed somewhere, has anybody ever done any planting? You know, come on, done a little planting. You know, you put a seed in the ground. You never go out the next day and expect to receive a harvest, right? You don't go, hey, I planted that apple tree yesterday. You know, I need some apples. Okay, you're not gonna get no apples the next day. You know, you're gonna have to wait a little bit, right? There's gonna be a little waiting time. And in life, it's true. You know, when we sow a seed in our life, it takes a while for that to come out. And often, the thing that we see come out of our life, we don't really like it. Because maybe you didn't plant the right seed. I'm going to say it just like that, just like I hear it. But I'm going to tell you that God has started and begun a good work in you this morning. Amen? He did it in me, He did it in you, and He's doing it all along the way in our life. And I'm really excited, though, because, you know, if God started something 7 months ago, and He did, I know He did, okay, we should start to be showing about now, right? Right? If there's a seed planted, we'd be about 7 months pregnant right now. People would start seeing something happening. And I'm going to tell you something's starting to happen right now, okay? And I can see it, I can feel it, I know it, and there's no turning back from this point, okay? Because we're going to have this baby, okay? Amen? And something's going to happen. And we got to get excited about it, though. And I'm going to tell you right now, we have to engage our faith into what God is doing. We got to begin to believe that God is going to deliver on what He has promised in our life. Amen? And there's never going to be another day in our life, never going to be another day in our life that's ever going to look like today, because we're going somewhere. Amen? God is doing something. Amen? And He chose each of us. Each of us has a purpose, and God has a plan for us, and He brought you here this morning to reaffirm it in your life. And I think it's time for us to begin to step into that plan, amen, and stop resisting what God is trying to do, because He's trying to do something in your life, and we got to stop resisting it, amen. Who's a resistor? I'm a resistor, because every time I'll tell you a story. This week, God asked me to do something. This week, God asked me, and He asked me, and He asked me, and I was like, actually, it was a week. It was a solid week that God asked me, and I was like, I'm going to do it, God. I'm going to do it. I don't know if I should do it. I don't know if I should do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it, God. I don't know if I should do it. I'm going to do it. And finally, when I finally listened and I went and I did what He asked me to do, the second the paper left my hand, the presence of God came back into my life. And I know that I will do whatever it takes to keep that relationship strong with God from here on out. I will not stop what God has begun in my life. I will not stop doing what He wants me to do. When He asks me to move, I'm going to move. I'm going to try to listen. How many of you know that it's hard to listen to God? Amen? Sometimes we don't even hear His voice. Sometimes we don't know what He's saying. But I'm going to tell you, if we'll just listen, He'll do what He promised that He would do all those years ago. Not one single promise will He forget. Amen? It's yes and amen in God. Amen? Yes and amen. Every promise, yes and amen. It's a guarantee. Amen? I get excited about that whenever I say the promise is guaranteed, because you know how God sealed the promise? He sealed the promise when he swore by Himself, His own name. He said, I looked everywhere else. Because that's what we do on earth. We swear by a name greater than our own. All right? Every time I swear, I say, Al. Okay, no, I don't really use Al's name in vain, but we always find we usually use the God's name in vain. That's what we usually do. But I'm going to tell you that there is a greater name, and His name is Jesus, and He's here this morning, and He wants to touch and transform your life. He wants to change you this morning. Amen. And we got to be willing. That's why I like worship, because worship is where I surrender. I lift my hands and surrender, and I say, God, I surrender to the greater one. That's you. And I give you my life, fresh and new again. Amen? And just let God be God this morning. Just let him be. Nudge your neighbor and tell him something's about to happen. Amen? Something is about to happen. I'm going to ask you to use your faith this morning and say, something is about to happen. Okay? Look around you. You go, I don't know, God. It don't look like nothing because it's just a seed. It's just begun. It's just beginning. We're at the beginning of it. Amen? And God is the author and the finisher. Amen?